So we have business paper 2, paper 1, October, November 2021. So we're starting. Question 1. So, there's the case study there, but we're gonna look at the case study and I just go to the question immediately. So the question says, which one of the following functional area is responsible for the recruitment of new employees? Recruitment of new employees. The finance department is about finding cash for the business. So it's not, finance is for the finance department, and the finance department, what do? They find fund, they make budgeting. So it is not number A, it's not A. Marketing is for the marketing department, that is finding a way to increase the sales of the business. So it is not B. Production is for the production department. They think about the quality of the product, how to reduce costs in the cost of production. So it is not C. So for recruitment and selection, it is the human resources department. So the answer is D. Is it clear?
Yes.
Question 2. Which one of the following is an internal source of finance? Overdraft is an external source of finance, but it is short term because you have to pay back within a year. Selling assets, selling the assets of the company, that is internal. So selling assets is the answer, which is B. Venture capital is external source of finance. Crowdfunding is also an external source of finance. So the answer is B. We're talking about internal source of finance, which is the finance that can be sourced within the business. So the answer is B. Question Roman figure 3. Which one of the following is the main feature of the statement of comprehensive income? Statement of comprehensive income talks about all the items in the statement of comprehensive income will lead us to net profit. So there are incomes, expenditures, gross profit, and net profit. Current asset is part of statement of financial position. It is not A. Non-current liabilities is part of statement of financial position. It is not B. Cost of sales, yes, because it is sales minus cost of sales that give us the gross profit. So cost of sales is an item in the statement of comprehensive income. So the answer is C. Capital employed, that's capital, additional capital, is part of statement of financial position. So the answer is C. Clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Question Roman figure 4. Which one of the following is a political factor that can affect a business? Taxation is political factor because this is decided by the government, and government position comes through politics. So it is A. Global warming is environmental. Habitat destruction is environmental. Part-time workers, these are flexible workforce. It doesn't have anything to do with a factor that is political. So the answer is A. Clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Roman figure 5. What markup has artifact? Okay, here we have when the Liberty Art Jam costs Artifact Studio $10, 10 Singapore dollars. People attending the course are charged 35 Singapore dollars. What markup has Artifact Studio applied to this service? The formula for markup is profit per item divided by cost per item multiplied by 100. The profit is selling price minus cost price. So the selling price here is 35 minus 10 divided by 10. So this is here. We have the cost price, profit per item divided by cost per item multiplied by 100 gives us our markup. So profit per item is the selling price minus cost price divided by the cost price multiplied by 100. So that gives us 250%. So the answer is C. The answer is C. We move on. Roman figure 6. Are you there? Roman figure 6. Which one of the following would Which one of the following would Artifact Studio pay in SGD if they imported 15 sets of paints? For 15 sets of paints, we have one MYR is 0.33. So which one of the following? So if they are doing 15 sets of paints, it means 15 sets will be 8.5 multiplied by 15, which gives us 127.5. And 127.5 multiplied by 0.33 gives us our answer, which is 42.08. That is D for Roman figure 6. We go to question B now, 1B. So we go to 1B. Question 1B, are you there? Are you there with this?
Yes, sir.
Divide the term diseconomies of scale. When I talk about diseconomies of scale is a cost disadvantage that occurs as a result of expansion. So what I'm simply saying is that when a firm is expanding, it is expected of the firm to reduce its average cost of production. But if the firm is expanding and its average cost of production is increasing, that is diseconomies of scale. Is it clear?
Yes.
Good. Question C. Define the term job production. When we talk about job production, we're talking about a method of production that involves you producing a unit of output at a time. So we want to produce pen, we produce just this pen at this point in time. That's what job production is. We need a pen, we produce the pen. Then before we talk about something else, that is job production. Is it clear? We'll move on to question D. State one financial methods of motivation Artify Studio could use to motivate its employees. I wrote bonus. Artify Studio might use bonus, giving additional pay to its employees if they are able to sell more artworks to the customers. Or if customers are able to buy more artworks. I think it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Question E. Artify Studio offers a 12% discount to parents if they book the dual parents and child outcome and the children's illustration workshop at the same time. The combined price for both courses before being discounted is Singapore $285. Calculate the discounted cost of booking both courses at the same time. You are advised to share your working. So the working is here. The discounted price, the discounted cost is the total cost is 285 minus the discount given. Discount given is 12% on the price. So 12% on the price is 34.2. So 285, which is the cost, minus 34.2 gives us 350.80. So that's the answer. We'll move on. That's question. If we go to question F, they say explain one measure a business can use to judge its success. The success of a business can be measured through through the market share. Why do I use market share here? Market share means the total brand sale divided by the total brand sale divided by the total market sale multiplied by 100. So if Artify is doing well, if a business is doing well, if its market share is increasing, it means it has had more customers from its competitors. If you are increasing, if your market share has increased from the previous year, it means you are having new customers. And having new customers means the customers of your competitors are buying from you, started buying from you. Because there's no customer in heaven. All the customers are here. So if you are adding more customers, it means some of your competitors are losing their customers. So if some of your competitors are losing their customers for you, it means your business is successful. Do you get the point here?
Yes, sir.
Any question about that?
No, I'll tell you.
Okay, so we'll go to question G. Analyze the effect of a decrease in interest rate on Artify Studio. An increase in a lower interest rate could increase the demand for its art. So when we talk about lower interest rate, it means the cost of borrowing becomes cheap. So if the cost of borrowing becomes cheaper, it means Artify Studio might be able to borrow more money to expand its business, maybe for advertisements, to create more awareness. If the cost of borrowing is cheaper, it allows businesses to be able to borrow more. So in case of Artify might be able to borrow more to expand its business or to make advertisement. And if Artify is able to spend on advertisement, it will create awareness about its products. Do you get the point? And another advantage of interest rate is that it reduces, as it reduces the cost of borrowing, consumers might be able to borrow more money from the bank. So if they are able to borrow more money from the bank, they might be willing to buy art materials or art sets because they have money now, because they are able to borrow. And that increases revenue for Artify Studio. Is it clear?
Yes.
Is it clear, please?
Yes.
So I think that ends question 1. Have it, please. So go to question 2. Are you there?
Yes. Question
2. State one reason why Artify Studio would want to offer a high quality service. High quality service will bring about customer loyalty. If your products are good, if your services have greater quality, customers will come back to buy from you. Yes or no? So a high quality service will bring about customer loyalty, which means customers will return to buying from Artify. Is it clear?
Yes.
Roman figure B. State one advantage for Artify Studio of using part-time employees. Part-time employees are flexible. So it means they will be needed only when Artify Studio is in the peak period, when a lot of customers are coming. So if it's an off-peak period, it doesn't need to employ them. So for part-time workers, they will be needed when it is a peak period for Artify Studio, when a lot of customers are coming, so that they can have a lot of employees to attend to those customers. So this will reduce Artify Studio expenses on wages, because it will only employ workers when their needs are when they are needed. Do you get my point, or I repeat? Part-time workers are flexible workers, which means they will only be there when the needs be. So for Artify Studio, it won't employ full-time workers. It employs part-time workers only for those periods that are peak, when a lot of customers will come to the studio. So if a lot of customers come, if it is the period when customers will come into the studio, then those workers will be available. That reduces the amount he has to pay to permanent workers, to full-time workers. So Artify Studio cost of workers or cost of wages would reduce. And that means expenses is reducing for Artify, because it's using part-time or flexible workers. Is it clear? Roman figure C, question C. Explain what benefits to a business of being a partnership. When the business is using partnership, it means it has other people working with the business as owners. So here I talked about shared responsibility. In partnership, there's shared responsibility, which means each partner might be skilled in one aspect. So because you are skilled in one aspect, I am skilled in one aspect, he is skilled in one aspect, she is skilled in one aspect. So what I know how to do best, I do. What you know how to do best, you do. Everybody will do what they know how to do best, and that would increase productivity for the business. So shared responsibility will bring about productivity and less stress. Unlike when you are a sole trader, that you have to do everything yourself, you get tired. But with partners, there's shared responsibility, because your skills might be different from my skill. My skill might be different from his own skills. So we can be able to work on what our strengths are, and that will bring about productivity. That is the advantage of having partners. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Question D. Explain one way social media can be used by a business. Social media can be used to target certain group of customers. This means advertisement can be channeled to those groups who may have interest in the product or service of the business. For social media, you can target certain customers. Or you want the teenagers, you can use TikTok or Instagram. If you want the middle-aged, you can use Facebook. So whatever you want to do as a business, whatever customers you want to target, you can use the social media to target them, and you will get a good response from them. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
That's 2D. We have E. Are you with me, please?
Yes, Mr.
Explain one benefit for a business from the introduction of total quality management, TQM. When we talk about total quality management improves quality. And how does quality improve this way? Quality will improve because everybody within that organization will be working towards the same goal, which is to improve quality. So that will reduce mistakes. From the security to the director, they are all putting effort. They are all channeling effort to improve quality. That is what total quality management means. So it means mistakes might be minimal. Is it clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
Question F. They said Artify Studio has decided to use public relations to improve its image. When we talk about public relations, that means having to find relationship with the public, with the people. Option 1, sponsoring a local art show. 2, having a stand at a national art exhibition. So for the sponsoring a local art show, I wrote, this will increase the awareness of Artify Studio to those in the Kampong Glan area, as it might be used as a means of advertisement about different services of Artify Studio. However, sponsoring an event may be quite expensive, and this might increase the cost of Artify Studio. When you are sponsoring a local event, it means there's an event going on, you pay for the event. So that can be a form of advertisement for your business, like a football game here. Yes. Heineken is sponsoring it, or Mukhtar, or your school is sponsoring the event. So your school placard, your school images will be around the event. Yes or no? That's a sort of advertisement. But sometimes when you have to sponsor events, it takes a lot of money from the business, and that increases the expenses of the business. Clear? Though it will create awareness, a lot of people, the locals, will know more about your product, but it might be cost, it might be expensive. National art exhibition. National art exhibition means you put in an art exhibition where a lot of foreigners can come to check the work of art, different artworks. A lot of tourists will come there to check different artworks. You can use that place too. When you use it, it means foreigners might be able to see your artwork. And if they are able to see your artwork, you can also discuss with them whatever they want, the artist, whatever they want. Because you are using, it is an exhibition. And even it is an exhibition, it means everybody will showcase whatever they have. So you might be able to interact with a lot of artists, ask for their demand and be able to provide what their demand is. But the problem about here is that, based on the case study, they said it is moving into, however, this may mean that Artify Studio employees have to take their time off. Because when you are going for exhibition, it means your workers, your employees have to be there to talk to these artists. So that means they're not going to be at work. And Artify is a small business. It doesn't have large numbers of employees as a small business. So it means almost all its workers will come to the art studio or to the art exhibition. So nobody is at work. And if the exhibition is poor, that means the attendance is poor. It means it's not effective, and that would increase the cost. Is it clear or not?
Okay.
Okay. So that ends question 2. We'll go to question 3. Are you with me? This is still part of question 2. Go to question 3. Question 3. Define the term price skimming. When we talk about price skimming is a pricing strategy that allows a business or that a business use when introducing a new product to the business by setting a higher price on the product, then reducing it at a later date. So it's a new product that is about to be launched into the market. The business will set a high price on it with the aim of reducing it at a later date. Sometimes they do that to make people to make the perception of people to make people think about the product, or to make people think highly of the product. When a new product comes out and the price is high, you might think it has a great quality than the ones that are existing. Do you understand?
Yes.
So new businesses, sometimes when they want to, they use the pricing strategy like that to set a high price on a new product, to make people think that or feel that the product has high quality. Clear?
Yes, Mr.
B. Outline one reason why cash might be important to Artify Studio. Cash is important to Artify Studio as it could be used to pay creditors promptly. So when Artify Studio has enough cash, to be able to pay its creditors, its suppliers. And when you're able to pay your suppliers promptly, when you're able to pay them at the right time, as at when due, it builds your relationship with them. So they will always trust you, and they will always want to sell to you even on credit. Is it clear? Question C. We have the revenue, cost of goods sold, direct labor, total cost, and gross profit. They say we should calculate to 2 decimal places the gross profit margin for Artify Studio. Gross profit margin is gross profit divided by revenue multiplied by 100. Gross profit margin is gross profit divided by revenue multiplied by 100. So here we have our gross profit to be 28,500. The gross profit is 28,500. The revenue is 90,500, then multiplied by 100. So that gives us 2,850,000 divided by 90,500. So it is 31.49. 31.49%. That is the gross profit margin. Then we'll go to question D. They said, analyze how Artify Studio could use the information in figure 1. The information in figure 1 is the gross profit we get. So with gross profit margin, it allows Artify Studio to know if it's making enough cash that can cover up for the cost. Because gross profit is the cost on sales minus your sales. So if the gross profit is increasing, your gross profit margin is increasing, it means the business is able to cover up its cost. That's the first point. And the second point I wrote, Artify can use the calculation to assess the performance of the business in terms of cost cutting, and be able to know if there is need to change the approach if costs are still increasing. Another way Artify could use the gross profit is to know if the costs are reducing. So if your gross profit for the previous year is less than the more than the gross profit of the present year, it means your cost has increases. Do you get it? If your gross profit for last year is more than the gross profit for this year, it means you have incurred more cost in terms of sales. So this allows you to know that, oh, what do you have to do? This makes you to think about what to do next to reduce your cost going forward. So that's about gross profit margin. And is it clear?
Yes.
We go to Roman figure E. Question E, sorry. That's 3E. The Artifice Studio is looking to increase the amount of paints material it sells. It wants to sell painting sets for children and will need additional finance for the startup cost of buying these paint sets. It is considering the following two options: crowdfunding and retained profit. So for crowdfunding means you are able to gather large numbers of people online to contribute small amount of money for your project. Gathering large numbers of people online to contribute small amount of money for a project. That is what crowdfunding is. Do you get what crowdfunding is here?
Yes, Mr.
Gathering large numbers of people to contribute small amount of money for a project. That is crowdfunding. So I wrote crowdfunding. It could be a faster way to raise finance. To raise finance there for new art sets. And as investors do not need to be given a return on their investment, but may be able to gain access to the service offered by Artify. However, Artify Studio is a small business and may not gain the kind of audience needed to raise the amount needed. So, if Artify wants to use crowdfunding, it is a faster way to get a lot of money for your project, because the money you even get, you are not paying it back to those investors, but they might tell you they might want access to your art studio. Because they have invested in your business without you giving them back the money, they might just want access to whatever you do to them, whatever services you render. They might want it for free in return of the money they've put into the business. Do you get what I'm saying here? But the problem about crowdfunding is that Artify Studio is a small business. It might not be that popular to gain or to gather momentum, to gain a lot of audience that can contribute. So if a lot of audience cannot contribute, then it cannot fund the project through crowdfunding. The second point is retained profit. So Artify Studio might use the profit it makes from the last year and put into the business here, this year for the new painting. This means that Artify doesn't need to pay interest it doesn't have to pay interest. So whatever money it makes is an additional profit for the business. No interest will be paid. But the problem about retained profit is that it might not be enough to use. It might not be enough to purchase the new art paints, because it retained profits might not be that enough. But when it is a loan that you get, like when it is crowdfunding, it is large amount of it will give you a large number of money. When a lot of people contribute small amount of money for you, it will become large number. Do you understand? So that's the difference between retained profit and crowdfunding. And if you put, also I wrote, if Artify puts retained profit, and there's no guarantee that the business will, the new art or the new painting will sell. And if they don't sell, that means Artify is unsuccessful. That's about this. Take. Are you with me, please?
Yes.
Okay. Question 4. Artify Studio is planning to open a second art studio in the small mining town of Sungai Lembing in Malaysia. It will recruit highly skilled employees to provide a high standard of service. In order to advertise the opening of the second art studio, Artify Studio needs to look at promotional cost. It costs $459.50 for 1,000 color leaflets to be printed. The cost of delivery is $17.87 per hour. Calculate the cost of Artify Studio of delivering 1,000 printed leaflets, which will take 3 hours. You are advised to share your working. So for 1,000 for 3 hours, the cost for 1 hour is 17.87. So for 3 hours will be 17.87 multiplied by 3. That is the variable cost. And the fixed cost here is 459.50. So the total cost will be the fixed cost plus the variable cost, which is 513.11. 513.11. That's called question 1A. Go to question 1B. Question 4A, question 4B. Analyze the benefit of Artify Studio of on-the-job training for new employees. When I talk about on-the-job training occurs when existing employees becomes the trainer and they train the new employees who are the trainees. So that means the training occurs within the premises of the business. That means existing trainers, existing employees are the ones that are training the new employees within the premises of the business. That is on the job training. So the benefits of on-the-job training: one, it means Artifice Studio can use its existing employees to train the new employees, as this allows the new employees to see the work carried out at the studio and understand what their responsibilities will be when the new studio opens. Because Artifice Studio is opening a new studio, so it needs to train its employees, and it wants to use on-the-job training. Using on-the-job training means the new employees will be trained by existing ones. So that means they will be seeing what happens in the old studio, in the existing studio, and they will be able to know what is expected of them when the new studio opens. That's the first reason. That's the first benefit of on-the-job training. The second benefit of on-the-job training is that it allows the owner of Artifice Studio to know if the new employees are skilled enough to operate or to work in the new studio. So if they are not skilled enough, he or she will be able to know that they need more training, maybe through off-the-job training. So the two advantages of using on-the-job training is that, one, it means existing employees will train you, and it means the new employees will be able to learn from the experienced ones, which is good, and they'll be able to know their responsibility. And the second one is that the owners of Artifice Studio will be able to know if the new employees are skilled enough to carry on the function or the roles they are about to carry on in the new studio. And if they are not skilled enough, they have to do more further training, maybe through off-the-job training. Is it clear? And the last question. Evaluate the factor that Artifice Studio would have considered when deciding where to locate its second art studio. You should use the information provided as well as your knowledge of the business. Artifice Studio wants to open in a small mine in Malaysia, that is in a remote area in Malaysia. So I read. The factors to be considered on location decisions are as follows. One, the availability of materials, the availability of skilled labor. Availability of materials. Artifice will need suppliers for its art courses, as this allows free flow of supply, and this means courses could be carried out at the new studio. However, locating in a small mining town may bring about difficulty getting supplies, and this may reduce the services offered. So the first thing you have to consider when you are locating, when you have to take location decision, is about the availability of material. So if you are locating in that area without material, you won't be able to. That means the new art studio would not have enough material to carry out its role. That means it won't be functioning well. That is the point. But if it's able to have material to use, it will be flow. That means with enough materials, they will be able to carry out the course in the new studio. Then availability of skilled labor. For skilled labor, I wrote, if skilled workers are not available for the new art studio, courses might not be run properly, as skilled workers will improve the service rendered. Another thing you have to consider when you are locating when you are locating your firm or your business is availability of skilled workers. You know, Artifice Studio is trying to open a new studio, and it needs skilled employees to carry out the courses. So if there are skilled employees in the small town, in the small mining town, that will make the job efficient and effective, and the courses will be efficient and productive. But if the employees there are not skilled enough, Artifice Studio will not be able to carry out the courses properly, and that is not good enough. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Can you repeat the last?
Yeah. Availability of skilled workers or skilled labor is needed when you have to decide the location of your firm. In case of Artifice Studio wants to locate one of its, a new firm, a new studio where they will carry out courses. So if employees that are within that location are not skilled enough, then the course will not run properly. The course will not be efficient and effective. But if the workers there, if the employees there are skilled enough, those ones that have to those ones that have to go through the courses are skilled enough, that will make the training to be more efficient and effective. Is it clear now? So that ends paper 1 of October-November 2019, right? Yes. Is it 2019? Please check. I wrote the date on this. Check the last paper, please. October-November 2021.